The Great Pyramid of Giza. It's one of those things that just boggles the mind, right? For thousands of years, it's been standing there, this monument to ancient ambition. But how on earth did they actually build it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers of this incredible engineering marvel and see if we can find some answers.
So let's kick things off with a bit of a modern-day mystery. Not too long ago, researchers sent this tiny little robot deep inside the pyramid, down a shaft that had been sealed for thousands of years. It drilled through a mysterious stone door, and its camera saw, well, we're going to circle back to what it found later. But that one discovery is a perfect reminder that this ancient wonder is still hiding some major secrets.
Okay, before we can even get into how they built this thing, you got to wrap your head around the sheer scale of it. The Great Pyramid weighs an estimated 6 million tons. That's a number so huge, it's almost impossible to picture. So to put that into perspective for you, that's like taking 12 Burj Khalifas, the tallest building on the planet right now, and squishing them all together. And remember, this wasn't built with modern cranes and machinery. This is literally a mountain of stone put together by human hands. So you hear that and you think, impossible, right? How could anyone build something like that? Well, the answer is pretty amazing. It's all about breaking down this one massive problem into a series of just brilliant engineering solutions. And it all starts with the very first step, the foundation. And the scale, it all starts right there at ground level. The base of the pyramid covers a massive 13 acres. That's so big you could easily fit 9 football fields inside of it. So this wasn't just about building high, it was about building out on an absolutely epic scale. All right, so you've got this massive footprint. But the first real challenge wasn't about lifting a single stone. It was about positioning. See, every side of the Great Pyramid lines up almost perfectly with north, south, east, and west. The question is, how? Seriously, think about it for a second. You're out in the desert, you have no compass, no GPS, definitely no lasers. How in the world do you find true north with the kind of precision you need for a monument like this? Well, the answer wasn't on the ground. It was in the sky. Their solution was just brilliant. They used the stars. By watching how certain stars moved around a single fixed point in the night sky, they could figure out exactly where true north was. And this method was so incredibly precise that the pyramid's alignment is only off by a tiny, tiny fraction of a degree. Just an amazing feat of ancient astronomy. So, they figured out where to point it. Now for the next huge headache, the ground itself. That entire 13-acre area had to be perfectly level. Any little mistake, any bump, and the stability of the whole 6 million-ton structure would be in jeopardy. Their solution was, honestly, it's just flawless in its simplicity. They dug a whole network of trenches, filled them up with water, and then used the water's surface as a giant natural level. After that, all they had to do was chisel away all the rock and dirt that was sitting above that water line. And the result? A massive, perfectly flat foundation to build on. Okay, so the foundation is perfect. Now, the real work begins. Quarrying, cutting, and moving more than 2 million stone blocks. This wasn't just construction. This was a logistical operation on a scale that is almost impossible to imagine. So, problem number 1, cutting the stone. The pure copper tools they had were way too soft to cut through limestone efficiently. So, what did they do? They innovated. By adding arsenic to the copper, they created a much harder bronze alloy, one that was strong enough to shape all of those countless blocks. And getting these stones to the site, man, that was a whole other epic journey. The really good limestone was quarried about 250 kilometers away. From there, these huge blocks were loaded onto boats, floated down the river, and then dragged up massive ramps to the construction site by huge teams of workers. And we're not talking about little bricks here. A lot of these individual blocks weighed up to 50 tons. That's like moving 3 modern city buses for every single one of those stones. Just incredible. But believe it or not, the limestone wasn't even the hardest part. When archaeologists finally got deep inside the pyramid, into the king's chamber, they found something that presented a much bigger puzzle. Because the stone in there wasn't limestone at all, it was granite. And granite is insanely hard. We're talking almost as hard as a diamond. Those arsenical copper chisels they had? Totally useless against this stuff. So how in the world did they cut these massive granite slabs with such incredible precision? The answer is probably one of the coolest aha moments in all of ancient engineering. The experts are pretty sure they cut the world's hardest stone with a saw that had no teeth.
I know, it sounds completely impossible, but it's all about applying the right physics. It's a technique called abrasive sawing. See, the toothless copper saw itself wasn't actually doing the cutting. What the workers did was pour abrasive sand, which is full of hard quartz crystals, into the groove. The saw's only job was to drag those super sharp particles back and forth, and it was the sand itself that slowly but surely ground its way right through the super hard granite. Genius!
So we figured out all these incredible solutions, but the truth is, we're still just scratching the surface. The Great Pyramid, even today, continues to guard its biggest secrets, leaving us with way more questions than answers.
I mean, we still debate its ultimate purpose. Was it just a tomb, or was it something more? We still don't know for sure how many workers it took. And that brings us right back to where we started. What did that little robot camera actually find? To this day, the answer remains a very closely guarded secret. You know, when you really look at it, the Great Pyramid is so much more than a pile of rocks. It's a monument to human potential. It's this timeless proof that with enough focus, teamwork, and just unbelievable ingenuity, we can make the impossible possible. Makes you wonder what we're capable of today, doesn't it?